Say, may I? Who? Make me. Ego. Walked away. And then I said to myself, may I be an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, may I so love. I liked it. I said, oh my God, it changes a little bit of the energy. It makes me more humble, more, and it's a may I is, the may I has a will to it, as a blessing to it as well, rather than make me, and you sit back and say, you make me, the ball is in your court. Make me an instrument. I can't do anything about it. You do it. But may I is like almost, I'm willing to take that step as well. And that something like that gelled with me, and I loved it. And that became my prayer. May I be an instrument of thy peace, where there is hatred. May I so love. I sought my inner permission every time I did something. And I felt I was in partnership with God at that moment. When you decide to be an instrument of Swami, which is why, whether you like it or not, that's your path. That's why you are here. Something in you called you here to be a part of this group. Something within you. I know you can say, oh, somebody forced me and that's why I'm here. I'm really not into this kind of thing. That's okay, but the fact that you are here, something deep inside you opened the door for you to be here. And most of you, I can say, consciously, we took that decision to be here. You probably think you came here to meet friends, to have a good time, all that is there, but something deep inside is what motivated you to be here, to take that time off from your busy schedules. I know most of you, if you're going to college or whatever, then it's perhaps next week, or a week from now, or 10 days from now, and you took that time off to come here. You took time off from your work to travel all the way, to spend 2-3 sleepless nights, having fun, of course, but then deeply questioning, exploring issues that really, really matter to you. You came here because you're ready to open your hearts to a greater power to work through you. Believe me, that's an amazing experience when you allow that to happen. Your life becomes enriching. You feel more empowered than ever before, rather than sitting in your little limited ego complex and your little limited comfort zone where you feel, oh, it's okay, I'm happy where I am. And that little hut of yours you created and you sneak in and stay there. You step out and say, work through me. And you allow the universe to throw challenges and pull you out of your comfort zone every day. Life becomes an adventure. It's terrifying, but it's awesome. It's a rush you can never have with the best roller coasters on earth. It's much better than that. Much better than Will Smith experienced that skydive from that plane. It's much better than that because it's a sustained rush. It takes you closer and closer to enormous energy and source and power that is infinite in its capacity to give. It leads you from one strength to another. Trust me. You just have to trust that energy. And I speak from experience. I speak from experience and I speak from my heart, and I'm so passionate about this because if you at this age discover that, then that power is going to be your strength and your pillar to lean on. That is going to be the story which will energize you and inspire you in your moments of trouble and despair. And that is what you will need in the darkest moments of your life. But you've got to do that now, not when something hits you. You don't learn swimming when you're drowning. If you don't know swimming and you fall off the canoe, I know some people did. But luckily it's not so deep and some kids fell off in the shore, that's fine. But if you fall off in the lake, right in the middle of the lake, and you don't know swimming, what are you going to shout? Somebody teach me how to swim? No, you're going to say, help me, pull me out of the water, just get me out. So when we spoke of mental health yesterday, we talked of coping with stress and how do we handle stress? How do we cope with stress? What are we going to do? We're going to do this. All of that is good. But then how about preventing it in the first place? How about learning to swim so you don't get into that state where you're fighting for survival, where you're struggling to cope with the stress? How do I strengthen my inner core so strong that stresses which affected me first don't affect me now anymore? It's like that diamond in the attic. My car breaks down, I lose my job, and yet I feel rich inside. I feel secure inside. How do I get to that? But that doesn't happen when life is at its darkest moment. No. You got to do that when everything is going fine and dandy. That's when you practice, and that's why you're here. To energize yourself, to re-strengthen your inner spirit, and to find that. Because when love beckons you, you follow him. You know Khalil Gibran's poem, one of my favorite poems. When love beckons you, follow him, though his ways are hard and steep. He was not Sai devotee. He was, of course, many, many, many centuries before that. But he spoke of love. To me, love is the secret of that power to unite. Swami is a very embodiment of that power of love. But the love that I experienced with Swami was not only that emotional love, love of a mother or love of a friend. When we think of love, we think of, a rose and soft words, and a pat on the back, an embrace, a hug. But love can be hard, though his ways are hard and steep. When his wings enfold you, yield to love, though the sword hidden among his pinions may wound you. And when love speaks to you, listen to him, though his voice may shatter your dreams as the northwest wind lays waste the garden. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. I know most of you are going back saying, okay, I'm not coming back to these kind of retreats, it's scary. I am not scaring you. I know you are not scared. You're tough. You're a lot more tougher than that. But the call of the divine is not to set out a rosy path in front of you. Swami himself didn't have a rosy path. We saw him create a path where there was no path, and he worked for it. The institute didn't come out just because, it's easy to say, oh, he is divine, he can do all that with the wave of his hand. No, of course not. He could have done that, then why God doesn't have to take a human form? Why do we have avatars, the concept of avatars? They come in a human form to say, let me be a human and show these humans how you can be divine. So think of him, that's why I said, think of Swami as a human being. And to me, that's what makes him more divine. And that's what helps me to reassure that there has to be an energy within me. If he could do it, why can't I? And it's not blasphemy to compare yourself with Swami, because he himself said in this discourse, and I was witness to it, and it's there somewhere in one of the Satyasai speaks, if you look at the mid-80s, he said, walk with me. Don't walk behind me, I'm not your leader. Don't walk in front of me, I'm not your follower. He's very clear about that. Walk with me, walk beside me. Let us hold the hands of our Lord and walk on. Let the heavens shower their blessings of compassion or deal their thunders of doom. Walk on till you arrive or till you fall. I would much rather drop off unfulfilled on this path than succeed in any lesser sphere of my life. That is my vow. What is yours? So when love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even he ascends to your tenderest branches that quiver in the morning sun, so shall he descend to your very roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth. That is the power of love. Love is not something that makes the world go round. It makes the ride worthwhile. So when you are in Swami's fold, it doesn't mean life becomes rosy and there's no more troubles. That's the most boring life ever. If everything was going fine, you will be bored. If you had $1 million every morning lying at your desk, the first day you'll be thrilled. After a week, you'll be bored. You'll be like, oh, I want to be poor again. I know you don't believe it, but trust me, it could happen. I don't know. I can't speak that from experience. I just managed to learn there are six zeros to $1 million? Okay. Or 7. Oh, well, 7, I think, right? See? Good. That's where I am right now. Still figuring out math. But that is the energy of love. If you allow Swami's love to flow through you, it will energize you, empower you. It makes your life even more adventurous. So many, many years later in Kodaikanal, close to 90s, over 12 years now, from the first time I said, make me an instrument of thy peace. Every day in Kodaikanal, you would ask me to speak. It was a month, and so 30 days of 30 different speeches. I was running out of topics. Of course, he just spoke for 15, 20 minutes before Swami would speak, and then he would take threads from what we spoke and come up with a whole divine perspective. One evening, I decided, hey, listen, I'm out of poems. I'm going to say this, may I be an instrument again in front of Swami. Of course, I love to say that because that was my prayer. And so, that evening, I gave a nice talk, and then at the end of it, I looked at Swami and said, Swami, this time I knew that's what he wanted me to say, so very boldly, very confidently. And from my heart, I said, Swami, may I be an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, may I sow love. Where there is injury, may I sow pardon. And thus and so forth, I spoke. And I went and touched his feet. And as I looked up, Swami made this face. Like this. And I didn't connect it to this poem. I thought it was something I spoke. I looked at Swami. I just sat down. He said, how many more days like a beggar you will say, may I, may I, may I? I really couldn't believe my ears when he said that. Inke entasepu beggar laga, may I, may I, may I? And of course he has to look at the old VIPs and they're all like, yes, Swami. Like, oh God.